So on March 1st, 2022, a very significant thing happened within the publishing world because something happened that I don't think that anyone ever expected. And you might have heard of Brandon Sanderson and his incredible Kickstarter campaign for his new books that he has coming out. He intended on using this 30-day campaign to raise $1 million for his next books that are going to be releasing in 2023. But in less than 24 hours, he raised well over $1 million. And right now, I'm recording this on March 10th, and he is well over $27 million with over 115,000 backers. And he still has 21 days left to go. So I totally see this campaign going over $30 million. And that is huge. I saw someone post on Twitter saying, well, Brandon Sanderson has broken publishing, and really he has. And I think that there's so much that we can learn from this campaign that I wanted to break it down for us today and share some things that I've observed by looking up who this Brandon Sanderson character is and to see what we can learn from him as fellow authors and how we can apply that to our marketing as well. So my name is Jen Hanson-dePaula, and I'm the co-founder of Mixtus Media. And the purpose of this channel is to empower and educate authors in how to simplify their book marketing and how to find their community online. I'm really good at helping authors really simplify the book marketing process and help them find their ideal readers, specifically using social media. So if this is something that sounds good to you, be sure to hit like and subscribe. I share new videos every Friday, and click the link below to download my free streamlined book marketing guide. It is my gift to you to help get your book marketing on track. So let's get started. So one of the biggest things, like when I saw how much success Brandon Sanderson had with his Kickstarter campaign, I thought, oh boy, now every author is going to think, oh, I should go and do a Kickstarter campaign because that's what he did and he made millions of dollars. That's not the case at all. And I think that, yes, there are some amazing lessons that we can learn from this, but it isn't something that we're going to be able to mimic year after year after year with author after author, because there are some significant things that Brandon had in place that set him up for success. And so when I started to look into Brandon Sanderson, because he was relatively new to me, I really wasn't aware of who he was because I'm not a big science fiction fan. He writes a lot of science fiction and fantasy. And as I started digging in, I saw that he has over 30 books. He's been publishing books since 2005 for the last 17 years. And he has a healthy catalog of books. I read several articles that called him the hardest working or the fastest writing author in science fiction. And his catalog is impressive, and he has multiple short stories and novellas that go along with it. So this isn't something where he started writing last year and then decided to do a Kickstarter campaign asking for $1 million. He has been doing this for a very long time. And that brings me to the first point, is that he has a very loyal following, and he has taken his time to really develop this community and to grow that community. Because if you're not really into the science fiction genre, or if you really aren't interested in those kinds of books, this Brandon Sanderson is probably a new name that you've never heard of. And he really focused on finding his people. He speaks to his people. He speaks to his ideal reader. I always tell authors that when they're trying to market to everyone, they're marketing to no one. And this really shows the power of really speaking to and connecting with your ideal readers. You don't have to connect with everyone or even have millions of people following you in order to be successful with marketing your book, but you do have to build a community and you do have to build that connection. And obviously, Brandon has done that brilliantly. And the second thing that I found was that even early on in his writing career, he had a clear idea of what he wanted to accomplish. There's an interview that he did that said where he was being told by people to make his book shorter, to change his perspective, and to do all of these things differently. And he was very passionate about his vision and what he wanted to share and the story that he wanted to tell. And that's something that I don't think that many authors have. They don't have a clear vision. And honestly, right when you're starting off, you might not know what that vision might be. But when you know the things that you want to accomplish. So for for example, let's say that you want to have a say in who designs your book cover, that you have very clear ideas of what your characters are going to be, or if you have a very clear idea of the problems that you want to solve with your nonfiction book or things that you want to do, if you are clearly defining what those goals are, it's going to help you to know where you should be and what you should be doing. So for Brandon, because he wanted more control over things, he did have both self-published and traditionally published books. So he knows both worlds, and this Kickstarter was to help self-publish this new line of books that he has. So when you know exactly what goals you want to accomplish, it really helps you to understand where you need to be and what you need to be doing in order to accomplish those goals. And the third thing is that he really paid attention to what his readers were saying. He really listened and paid attention to things that they were interested in. If you go to his website, and I'm sure that he's interested in these things as well, but he has a gaming section on his website. So he knows that gamers and other people might be interested in this kind of story. So he has many different things that he is offering, but he knows his readers well, and he knows what else they're interested in. And the fourth thing is that he didn't make his Kickstarter campaign incredibly complex. When you go to his Kickstarter page, you see that he has just a few offerings, and they are very specific to what he knows his readers will like. He has both digital and physical books, but he also has swag boxes full of things that he knows that his ideal readers will be interested in. I see many people, not just authors, make very complex packages and many different offerings that are so complex and really overwhelming. But he kept it relatively simple, and it made it very easy to know what would work for you and a price point that would work for your budget. And the fifth thing is that he took some risks. He thought outside of the box. And I think that that is something that so many authors are not only afraid of doing, but they think that there is only one way of doing things, whether that's being traditionally published or that if you're self-published, it's not going to be as high quality as what a traditionally published book would be. And that is simply not the case. The options that authors have now, even relative to what we had 5 years ago, is vast, and you can create the book and the experience that you want to have with much more freedom than what you did even a few years ago. And yes, Brandon has many years of experience. He has a vast catalog. He's had multiple years to really hone this in. But the things that you can learn from Brandon and from this experience is that it wasn't so much of him trying to fit into a certain mold. He knew what he wanted. He knew what he wanted to accomplish. He knew his readers. And so he created that experience for himself. I think one of the most important things for authors to do is really educate themselves and to really become aware of what the possibilities are, that you can see things like this that's happening to Brandon and realize that, okay, this might not happen to me this year or even next year, but thinking about it long term, what is the career goal that you have? It might not be money based, and I really doubt that that was Brandon's main objective as well. He wanted to share his work. He wanted to share these books that he wrote during the pandemic with his audience, and he wanted to create a special experience. So even though all of us might not experience the same $27 million epic campaign that Brandon Sanderson had, we can really learn a lot, not only from him, but from our fellow authors as well. So what I would really encourage you to do is to go and observe. Look at authors that you admire, that you aspire to be like, and learn from them. See what they've done. And don't just go and mimic them, but look at how you want to move about your journey as an author. What are your goals? What are your aspirations that you have? And how can you really connect with your ideal readers, really connecting and building a community for them? And even though there are so many options that you can choose from, once you know your goals and what you want to accomplish and how you want to connect with your readers, it really helps making those decisions so much easier. Now, I know that this isn't the last time that we're going to hear about this campaign or that there's going to be discussions about it. So I would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What have you observed? What are some things that you have taken away from this that you might apply to your own marketing or to your own campaign as well? I'd love to hear from you and hear what you've come up with. And don't forget to download my free Streamline Book Marketing Guide. Click the link below to grab that, and be sure to subscribe and like. I share new videos every Friday, and I'll see you soon.